How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Fear Street Cheerleaders, the Third Evil. This is the final book in the original Fear Street Cheerleaders trilogy. It came out October 1992 and was, of course, written by R.L. Stine. It's the final book in the original trilogy, and the final book collected in this new Simon Pulse collection here. Really glad that they put out a big omnibus covering all three books. But that being said, the cheerleaders would return, some in the Super Chillers. I think there's one in the new Super Thrillers line. Fear Street Sagas did an origin for the evil. So there are more Fear Street Cheerleaders books, and here's hoping that those two Super Chillers and the Sagas book wind up in a second omnibus. That would be really great. But anyway, I did manage to come across, it's a little worse for wear, but the original cover for this book, man, got to love that original cover where she's doing the splits there and it looks like her legs are broken. Gotta love the original covers, although this one is pretty cool as well. Anyway, I guess I should address before we get into this, sorry this book took me a while to get into. I just finished the second one and then I had this big project come up and it did knock out my momentum a little bit, and it is a little hard to get back into something when something distracts you. But I really did love this final entry in the series. It's big and epic and really worth, being the ending piece. This starts off, like, the first part of it is at cheerleader camp, which is this really cool original idea, but when we return to Shadyside and we try to resolve the evil once and for all, finding out where the evil's been hiding is this really cool dark reveal that leads to a big epic finale and some really cool moments, in particular with Shadyside's past. There's a bunch of good creepy visions in here and a really big epic ending where you think, oh man, this whole thing, it has a high chance of ending super, super terribly. So overall, a really fun, energetic finale that I definitely did like. Let's talk a little bit about the plot. I won't do significant spoilers for book 3, but I will talk openly about the first two books. You kind of have to. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the plot. No major spoilers. We open up, and I really actually like where they put Corky at the beginning of this book. You see, there's this other new cheerleader, Hannah, and she's young, she's the only new cheerleader, and she's Little Miss Perfect, and Corky's been through a lot, and she's actually really good friends with Kimmy now, and the two are kind of just bashing on this new girl. She thinks she's so good, and you really see that Corky has come a long way because that was literally her at the beginning of this series, and now she's much more jaded, and the person that she was originally enemies with is now probably her best friend. I love how she's changed over the course of these books. But anyway, they're going to cheerleader camp, and it's going to be hard work and competitions, lots of cheerleader stuff. And I get this idea, they're away from Shadyside, they're on their own, no parents, wacky antics are going to happen, and, cool horror stuff, away from Shadyside, away from where there's some interesting ideas in here, and plus it's like the final book, we get even more cheerleaders in here, and there's some really fun stuff, before they left, they went to a diner, and Corky ordered pea soup, and the pea soup exploded in her face in this big eruption. A little bit of a joke towards The Exorcist, but when that happened, she knew that the evil was still around, and it was probably in one of her friends. So now she's there at cheerleader camp, and something will happen in the middle of the night, and someone will think, oh, that's just a prank, or something like someone turned the bathwater up scalding hot, that's gotta be just one of the girls messing with us, right? No, it's the evil. And Corky will be played with horrific visions. And yeah, a lot of the scares in this book are visions, but two things. One, this is how an evil spirit would mess with you. And two, the visions get pretty big and pretty crazy. Again, very Evil Dead stuff. There's this one vision she gets where she's dreaming and her sister is floating above her in bed, and she rips the top of her head off and roaches pour down on Corky. That is just so incredibly gross and gruesome. It is a great scary dream sequence. And there's other stuff like trying to walk on the floor and it turning into tar and sinking you in. And there's one scare later on in the book where she's just trying to eat breakfast and the two eggs turn into green eyeballs staring back at her. That is absolutely over the top nuts, and I really do like it. So yeah, cheerleader camp, it is pretty cool. It's something different and it isolates the girls. That being said, this would have been better if it was like its own book in like a longer running cheerleader series, because we do have to kind of leave cheerleader camp a little bit early, because this is the evil, this is a shady side history. We do kind of have to go back home. So it was a little bit of like, I get it, but at the same time, it kind of sad that this wasn't all cheerleader camp. But they get home, crazy stuff had happened. I won't spoil it, but one of the things that happens towards the end of cheerleader camp is this absolutely brutal injury that oh man, I could feel it. But when they get back home, uncovering who it is and figuring out how to stop it. Now, one thing that I did find really interesting is Sarah Beth Plummer, or the new Sarah Fear, is she went back home. So how do we get more information on Sarah Fear? And besides, Beth Plummer already gave us everything she knows. Well, you know how we're having wacky, crazy, far-out dreams and hallucinations? Corky actually has a dream where she goes back in time and is Sarah Fear. So we get this cool section or two where we're in the past and we're on that riverboat that in the last book they said went down. It's pretty cool, and I do kind of feel like it is a little bit like the Netflix movies, you know? They kind of borrowed that for there, where in the third Netflix movie, it's the same girl, but she's back in time through this vision. I thought that was interesting, although in this, that whole witchcraft stuff, yeah, the Netflix plot is completely different. 1666 versus 1898, yeah, about 200-300 years difference there, and it's not witchcraft, it's the evil spirit, and boy, there's some scenes in the past, and I'm like, oh wow, that's some gruesome moments. So overall, where this thing goes, it does lead to a big, cool, epic finale, and you know, the first book ending with the graveside and the swirling dirt, that was more epic in a visual way, but reading through this and knowing how dark it is going and thinking there's a good chance this is all going to crash down horribly, I really did like the ending. So there's some good, big, epic moments in this book, and yeah, I really had fun with it. So here's hoping that Simon Pulse puts out some of the other cheerleader books. I know there are a few more, so I really hope to get to read those soon. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Fear Street playlist, where you can see my reviews for the first 2 books, as well as a bunch of other ones. I covered all the books in the beginning collection as well, and most of the new reprints. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.